evening. Welcome to Dinner Guide. I am your host, Chef Jinjenga. So today we actually start the week of pasta on the Dinner Guide. Remember, we are back. It is season 2. So we're going to be looking at a week of different ways of making pasta. That's right. Pasta is one of my very favorite meals. It's really elegant and it's also fun to have. So depending on how you make it and present it. So today we're actually going to be looking at how to make the original spaghetti bolognese. Now, in season 1, I tried a quote-unquote a bolognese, but I used smoky meat. This time, I'm actually going to use actual mince and make the actual bolognese sauce. So for today's menu, we're gonna need some spaghetti, right? Then we're also going to need some cut up tomatoes. Now the trick of bolognese is to have as many tomato flavors going. So I have a mixture of some barbecue, sweet chili and ketchup going here. I have some basil. This is actually the herb, the live herb basil. I have my minced meat. Over here, I actually went ahead and prepared everything. Today's show, it's gonna be different, first time. So I have some onions, I have some celery, I have some leeks, all in here. I have some mushrooms. Now, mushrooms is optional. If you're allergic, you don't like mushrooms, don't have it, right? So the basic things in bolognese is this basic mirepoix. We have the Arjuva tomato paste, the most amazing tomato paste in the market. I love it. So we're also gonna need some garlic and ginger. We're also gonna need some dried herbs. So I have some bay leaf here. I have some oregano. I have some marjoram. I have also some parsley in here. I have some coriander. I have some butter. I have some cut up capsicum and chilies. Now this chilies and the capsicum is to give my bolognese flavor. You mustn't have it if you're not a chili fan, no worries. So I'll also have my butter and my 4 trusty friends. So I have some sea salt, some white pepper, I have some black pepper and some paprika with cayenne. So kindly do not touch the dial, do not go away. Join us where we shall be right back and embark on a journey of making original spaghetti bolognese. Dinner Guide. I am your host, Chef Jinjenga. So today's menu, we're looking at how to make spaghetti bolognese. Before the break, we actually went through the ingredients we shall need for the spaghetti bolognese. And I also had a pot of boiling water going. And then I have a big pot right here that I set on some fire that I want to start my bolognese today. So I'm gonna start with the spaghetti. So I'm just gonna season my water. So this is the water for my spaghetti, and I'm just seasoning it lightly. Now, note this, that you could actually put some oil in the spaghetti to give it a glossy look, but you mustn't, because if you boil the spaghetti in enough water, it won't actually, stick together. So there it goes. Dropping my spaghetti, so you give it time, let it be soggy at the bottom, let it just sink in the pot, then you're going to, keep on stirring. So now, as for my pot that is hot right now, I'm gonna take my wooden spoon and some butter. Now again, I've always said on the show, you can use some olive oil if you desire. You can use some canola. You can use whatever oil you desire. So I'm using some butter because I love the taste of butter. So I'm gonna dump all this. Again, today's show is kind of different because I cut everything. So if you're wondering how I made this cuts, kindly go to the Foodies Club, where I'll actually, not only be answering most of the questions you ask on the Dinner Guide and Lunch Guide, but I will also be showing you little tricks here and there that you foodies need in your kitchen. So I'm just gonna fry this inside my pot, keep it going. And as it's going, I'm actually going to let it turn translucent. So in here, I have some leek, I have some celery, I have some spring onions, I have some red onions. Now, why I actually have a combination of this sort of maple is because I aim for flavor. I love flavor, okay? And personally to me, all bulbs give the most amazing flavor. So this is going. So now I'm just gonna get my spaghetti, my pasta, and I'm actually gonna, you know, try and push it down the pot, and then I'm gonna stir it. So keep in mind, I've already seasoned my spaghetti. So you want to do this until it's something called al dente, okay? This is something we usually say in the kitchen, you know, in the hospitality industry. We shall say al dente. Al dente is, it's done to the point of a firm bite. You know, it's not too soggy, it's not too breaky, it's just right. So it's al dente. So here I go, my pasta is boiling. Then I'm gonna check on my leek and my onions, and as it's coming translucent, I'm just gonna go ahead and dump in my ginger and my garlic, okay? So there, and some garlic inside there. Okay, so I put all the garlic because I love garlic. Pasta, garlic, cheese, ring a bell. So, gonna break this down, gonna allow it to continue to cook. Woo! I am loving the smell in the kitchen today. Oh my God, the flavor, the aroma in the air is just, it's so gaga. So I'm gonna get rid of that. Then I'm gonna let this slightly, you know, I don't want it to turn golden brown again, but I need it to cook through. So I'm gonna check on my spaghetti now. Now keep on stirring your spaghetti. That's the trick to not make your spaghetti stick together. So there we go. Spaghetti stirring. See, it's really not gonna stick together. They're all gonna separate, they're all gonna be all right. So remember this al dente. Now back to the main course. Over here, I'm actually now going to put in my Aruba tomato paste. Awesome. So I'm going to put lots and lots of tomato paste because number one, Aruba is the most amazing tomato paste there is. And number two, I love a lot of tomato products in my Bolonges sauce. So there I have it. I'm going to stir this and let my tomato paste cook just slightly. Then I'm gonna add my tomatoes and my mushrooms. Now, if you don't want mushrooms, you mustn't use mushrooms. But then again, mushrooms are really cool. They're healthy. They're right to have. I just have this regular mushrooms. I can't remember the name, I'm trying to. But you could also use oyster mushrooms if you desire and if you want. So now I'm just gonna dump in my tomatoes. Again, the trick to the best Bolonges is tomato products, okay? You want, you know, the tomato paste, like I've said, Aruba, and you want, you know, your tomato sauce, your ketchup, anything that has tomato in it. To me, personally, screams Bolonges. And Bolonges is of Italian origin, so I hope I'm doing Italian lovers and Italians out there service. So, Italian food lovers. Yes, Italian food lovers. So, again, keep on checking on your spaghetti. And my spaghetti is actually almost al dente. So you want it to be firm, but done, okay? Now be sure not to remove it before it's time. Remove it at the exact time. So you're gonna give your spaghetti, depending now on how much spaghetti also you're cooking, you wanna give it about 3 to 5 minutes inside already boiled water, okay? Don't put your spaghetti in cold water and then boil it together. It doesn't work that way, boo-boo. So, put putting this there, so I'm just gonna go ahead. That needs, 2 more minutes. It will be okay. So as my tomatoes are going, I'm gonna go for my meat now. I'm just gonna dump this in. And I'm gonna break this down in my pots, right? Because I want it broken down. So, though today we're making original spaghetti bolognese, we actually are not gonna present it in the original way. The spaghetti and then the sauce on top. But no. Today we're actually gonna take a little twist and turn. So I need my oven on. So I'm turning on my oven, 250 degrees. I want it to get hot because I am actually going to plate my spaghetti in taco shells. So you're gonna have spaghetti bolognese in taco shells. Okay, call me creative. Anyway, so I'm gonna put them here to the side and I'm gonna let the oven get hot. So my spaghetti is done, right? So I'm just gonna let it settle as I keep on breaking the meat. Now, why I'm breaking the meat is because sometimes when you're cooking, you don't want your meat to have this heavy chunks. So I want to separate them, and I also want them to cook evenly. So there we are. And they're cooking. So right about now, I'm just gonna put some chilies inside here. Just a little bit, then leave the rest. I'm gonna use that later. Then I'm gonna dump my bay leaf. Then now, using my dry hands, my hands are dry but I can wipe them. Just lightly on the top, I'm gonna take my dried herbs. And you remember, I always do this in the shows. You wanna liven and awaken your herbs because they've been dried, they've been processed, y'all. So for them to remove flavor, just rub them in between the palms of your hand. It's like, you're getting some lotion going, like you're applying some lotion. You know how you smear it in the palm of your hands? That's what's up. So there, that's enough. So I'm actually gonna drain my pasta right now. So I'm draining it in the bowl, down the drain. And I'm just gonna let it sit there. Now, usually when I drain pasta down the bowl, I wanna run some cold water, in order for it not to stick with the starchy water and, in order for it to stop the cooking process. I need it to keep on cooking because I kind of want it slightly mushed if I'm going to plate them inside my taco shells. So there we go. So this is going. So now I'm gonna take my basil and, just a few leaves of basil. And yes, I am gonna put the basil stalk just a bit. Again, I usually say from season 1, food from home is not from the pot, but from the heart. So do you and use everything you can. Right, so I'm gonna take my knife and I'm just gonna run some very rough chops of my basil. So I'm gonna tuck all these leaves in. Run amazing chops, julienne chops, real quick, real chunky. You can reduce them if you want to, but the basil will actually shrink. So it's smelling really lovely, really nice. So I'm dumping that there. So boom, my meat is going. So I'm gonna dump now my sauce. all my sauce, I'm gonna dump it in. And I'm just gonna turn it inside. Then later on, I'm actually going to add my coriander. Just a bit. You know, you're gonna add some more, so leave some. And my assorted capsicum and some vinegar, just a shot of vinegar, and my mushrooms. Then I'm gonna leave all this goodness to boil and cook in my pots. So kindly do not touch that dial, do not go away. We will be right after the break where we continue on this amazing journey of cooking our original spaghetti bolognese. Guide. I'm your host, Chef JAN417. So today we were looking at how to make the original spaghetti bolognese, but we actually say that we're gonna have a twist on plating it. So for those of you who are joining us right now, kindly go to the Brown Plus TV's Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Also kindly, why don't you join the Foodies Club on YouTube? It's a platform where one foodie to another, we get to network and talk and share ideas on food. And I also get to answer most of your questions on the Foodies Club and do all the little tiny things that I'm not able to do all in one show. So now I actually during the break put my tacos inside the oven. So usually the taco shells, you're just gonna put them in the oven, and you need to be about 175 to 200 degrees Celsius, and you're going to place them on your oven tray facing down. Do not place them facing up because they're going to open up, right? So you don't want them to open up, and you want to place them down. Then after you remove them from the oven, give them time to cool so they can remain the same shape, because if you kind of turn them, they'll open up, right? And so you'll end up with a really, really large, hard, flat taco, and you don't want that. So today we're actually going to plate the bolognese in our taco shells. So I have what I need to plate. So I'm going to make this pretty. Trying my best to make this pretty. So I have some lemons. Right, so I'm just gonna place my shells in between the lemons so that the lemons can actually give my shells support. So there, my plate can only kind of accommodate those many taco shells. I'm trying to squeeze one in. Let me see if it's possible. Okay, it won't work, it's okay. So then remember, I said I'm not going to actually run my spaghetti with cold water because I needed it to be hot. So I'm gonna clean my hands right now. So I was looking for it to be al dente, meaning firm to bite, but I wanted it stuck together. So when you run cold water through your spaghetti to stop the cooking process, it actually separates. But this is what I was looking for. I was looking for this really hard texture. So I'm just gonna take, you see, it's stuck together. It's all sticky, and I needed it this way. So I'm just gonna take this, and I'm gonna place them inside my shell. I'm just gonna place a bit of spaghetti inside each taco, right? So this is for creativity purposes, basically. It has nothing to do with actual bolognese, right? So we actually made the sauce. That's why I'm saying kindly go to the Brown Plus TV's Facebook page, YouTube, in order for you to actually get to see what we did if you missed it, and for you to see again. So I'm gonna place a little bit of spaghetti on the base of my tacos. So it's really sticky. This is the texture I needed it to be because I was actually going to put my spaghetti bolognese and serve it in taco shells, but you don't need for it to be this texture. So I'm gonna wash my hands now. Then I'm gonna take the actual bolognese. So I've made it kind of dry because also I didn't want it to be so, you know, runny because it was going inside my taco shells. So now be careful with the shells, you don't want to break them. So there I have it. I'm being generous with the sauce. Right, so then I'm just gonna take some carrots and some horseradish and just place them, you know, in the white places, you know, to fill up my plates. Now, this is a really cool idea for dinner, right? When you have guests over and you so want to wow them, you just play with a lot of color. Make sure you play with as much color, because I usually say people eat with their eyes. Then by the time the food is getting in, guys are like, wow, that food was amazing. So there. Then I'm gonna take some red cabbage. Now I love color, so I'm just gonna place, you know, some red cabbage, you know, in between the spaces to fill out, you know, to kill the white, you know. The other thing, if you're not comfortable having this garnishes raw, you could actually grill them just for a bit. Then I'm gonna take my assorted capsicum. I'm gonna sprinkle them all over my tortilla, my taco shell, sorry, not tortillas. Tortillas, totally different. Woo! Okay, hi. So they're looking really colorful. Can you imagine? This is what you're gonna sit down and eat after a hard day's work. Guys will so totally enjoy this, right? It looks making food fun. Then I'm gonna take some of my coriander, just a bit. Because now I'm putting coriander around because I love the taste of coriander, or better known as cilantro. So I'm placing my cilantro, stroke coriander, stroke dhania on top of my taco shells. Not a lot because I don't want to not show the color from my capsicum. So I'm gonna wash my hands. Then actually gonna try and push this down slightly. Then I get to go to my cheese. So I just want a little bit of cheddar and mozza on my shells. And the other thing you could do is you could actually place the cheese when the spaghetti is really, really hot, but not too hot if you're doing this with the, the taco shells, because the spaghetti, if it's wet, it's gonna wet the taco shells and then they're just gonna be flat and break open, which is not cool. So there. Are you seeing that? It's just gonna dump some cheese right there for no apparent reason, because cheese is good. Then I'm going to actually take my parsley leaves. I think parsley leaves are the most gorgeous leaves in the world, and just stick them inside my taco shells. I love this. I love making food fun. For me, food is an art and craft project. If the food does not look colorful, I got problem eating it. So maybe this might be a little bit too much, but hey, this is how I'm doing me. So there we go. There we have it. Just gonna finish with a bit of this and that. Keep the color there. So I'm just gonna clean my hands. And I'm actually choosing to serve my original spaghetti bolognese, served in taco shells. To make it slightly classy, I'm actually going to serve it with some white wine. I know I'm breaking the rules. Red meat, red wine. White meat, white wine. But I had some white wine today, so I'm gonna turn it up like that. So there you have it, our original spaghetti bolognese plated in taco shells. It can be a bite, it can be an elegant dinner, it can be something that will be just so wow. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dinner Guide. Remember, this is season 2 and we're doing the week of pasta. Kindly join me on the journey of the week of pasta, and in the next episode, I'll see you later. I've been your host, Chef Jinjenga, but for now, bye!